I'm speaking with Lin Fei-fan. He was a prominent leader of the Sunflower Movement of 2014, where students occupied the legislature in protest of a trade pact with China. He is currently the Deputy Secretary General of the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, and most recently was sanctioned by Beijing for being a, quote, stubborn Taiwan independence separatist. Mr. Lin, thank you so much for joining me. I do want to ask you how you feel about being sanctioned by Beijing.
It's nothing fresh. To be honest, that since 2014, that after the Sunflower Movement, personally I cannot go to Hong Kong because the Hong Kong government just don't grant me a visa. So since then, I was being kind of sanctioned, but not officially being announced of the reasons. Because at that time, when we applied for a Hong Kong visa and trying to go to Hong Kong to support our friends in Hong Kong during the umbrella movement, the reason why they try to do sanction or punishment to Taiwanese individuals or officials, they're trying to spread fear among the general public, especially for the enterprise or for the some business who are supporting the DPP politicians.
Well, that makes sense. It seems like they're trying to spread fear in the general public, too, by military activity around Taiwan. Now, recently, after U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, you wrote an article in the Washington Post calling on the free world to support and commit to the defense of Taiwan, because Taiwan is now in a very dangerous situation. You said it's more dangerous than it's ever been since 1996. What is it that you want other democratic countries to do for Taiwan?
First of all, the Pelosi's visit, to my understanding, is a definitely positive trend for the Taiwan and U.S. relations. That's important progress for our bilateral relations. Pelosi is actually the first speaker after 25 years to visit Taiwan, and highest-ranking officials to visit Taiwan as well. But after Pelosi's visit, China's response to this visit is very aggressive. That's showing the world that they are the country that are willing to endanger the stability of the Taiwan Strait. And they are posing the gestures that is trying to let our allies to know that they will do whatever they can to punish Taiwan and the U.S. After this visit. So they don't mind to show their muscles through the military drills, like firing missiles across Taiwan Strait, even into the Japanese EEZ. So they're showing the world that they are the new hegemon in the region. So that's the main message that they're trying to conduct. So I think that for Taiwan and for the whole free world, especially after the Russia invasion of Ukraine, that we need to know that the free world order is already in a very fragile position. So we cannot endure any loss of another democracy in the world. So the whole free world must stand together.
So what do you think the other nations should do for Taiwan?
The diplomatic support still very essential. A lot of people are saying that Pelosi's visit is kind of a symbolic meaning. But Beijing's perspective is really clear that they don't want to see any kind of symbolic progress. So for them, symbolic progress is actually equal to substantial progress of Taiwan's position. Yeah. So what we need to do is to gather more support from the international community, that we invite and encourage that more world leaders come to Taiwan to show the solidarity with Taiwan. And we also hope that the world can also discuss their policies toward China, that their approach. Now, China is entering the 20th Congress. Xi Jinping's position is secure. His purpose his ambition is actually very clear, that he's going to pursue to overturn the world order based on the international law and freedom and liberties, all those values.
So you think that other countries should be a lot more wary of China, or
Yes.
also express that they would support Taiwan or have sanctions against China if China were to attack Taiwan?
I will argue that the free world to send more delegation, to send more support to Taiwan, not just for the diplomatic relationship, but also the defense issue as well. That it is the time that the free world to discuss if the crisis really happened, then how the free world can react.
So,
Okay.
if we see more and more top officials from different countries coming to Taiwan to show their support, we could see Beijing getting very nervous and reacting with even more escalated military activity. Do you think that's worth it?
If you assume that China's invasion of Taiwan will happen someday in the future, or even in the near future, then now is not the time to think about appeasement. Xi Jinping's regime is totally different from the previous Chinese leader. Since 2012, initially he started the so-called China Dream project, and also saying clearly that I'm going to pursue the so-called Great Chinese Rejuvenation. So their aim is to take back Hong Kong. After Hong Kong, they're going to take back Taiwan. And that's the mindset of Xi Jinping, obviously. Now, China is clearly with Russia. They're trying to overturn the current free world. So that's a crisis that we are facing.
So I see. That you think that actually when other democratic nations show their solidarity with Taiwan, China will think twice, and be less likely to attack Taiwan.
I think the more support we get, the more secure we are. Well, it's not a guarantee says that what we need is only the diplomatic support. What we need is also new weapons, new weapon systems, or no matter it's the asymmetric weapons or other kind of forms of defense reforms.
I totally agree. Well, I also want to ask you about your own personal, history, your involvement with the Sunflower Movement. You yourself said that that movement changed the trajectory of the nation. You said that in your article. How do you think the Sunflower Movement, which was led by young people, you were a student at that time, influenced Taiwan?
In 2014, many of Taiwanese people are quite frustrated in terms of seeing the whole trajectory of Taiwan is going to the direction that we're getting closer to China, and there's no way for Taiwanese people to have a say. A pretty famous IR scholar called John Mearsheimer, a Chicago University scholar, a very famous scholar, wrote an article saying that say goodbye to Taiwan in just 2014 February. But after 1 month, the whole civil society have the energy to conduct a clear message that the Taiwanese people are willing to defend themselves. The Taiwanese people are willing to keep their own country and to protect their own country and to make the decision by their own.
What would you say about the impact of youth on Taiwan politics today?
Yeah, I think that the youth still play a very essential role in Taiwanese politics, especially in terms of Taiwan's future direction. You can see that in the past, it is always the youth standing on the front line to confront the authoritarian government.
You yourself are a very charismatic leader. I think people expected you to run for office. Do you have aspirations to run for political office someday?
It's actually, yeah, well, so many people, some of them are encouraging me to do that. Well,
I can imagine.
For quite a while.
Yeah.
But in the past, I was a social activist. After that, I joined politics just for 3 years. So I'm quite a freshman of politics, so to speak. The most important thing for me right now is to get the skills that the skill set as being mature political worker. That if I'm going to lead a country, or no matter in what kind of role, that's better to understand more. So I'm still learning. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Lin Fei-fan, thank you so much for speaking with me, and thank you for speaking out for Taiwan. I've been speaking with Lin Fei-fan. He was a leader of the Sunflower Movement and is currently the Deputy Secretary General of the Democratic Progressive Party.